Hi everyone! Thanks for the invitation of Pakistan Animal Rights Advocacy Group. It is a great honor for me to attend Pakistan's first International Farm Animal Welfare Summit 2025. Here's my topic: Welfare and Behavior in Cage-Free Laying Hens, Housing Systems and Management. My name is Carrie Zhang, and I'm based in China. I'm the Scientific Officer of Global Food Partners. Global Food Partners, or short as GFP, it's a Singapore-based multinational consultancy firm established to provide support and expertise to food businesses, farmers, and industry stakeholders. Here are my major topics: the introduction, then different cage-free systems, the normal and abnormal behaviors, then the last, some key management in cage-free farms. Chickens might seem very simple, and like they do not have much thoughts or feelings. However, studies have shown that chickens are actually intelligent and curious animals. They are motivated to behave in certain ways and learn things really quickly. Let's talk about laying hens. Laying hens are chickens which have been bred to lay lots of eggs. They can lay over 300 eggs every year now, where their ancestors lay only 10 to 15 eggs every year. However, this may result in their skeleton becoming weak and very fragile. For example, the keel bone being susceptible to fractures and deviations. So, good management is important for birds' health as well as farm profits. The housing system has significant impact on animal welfare. It is obvious there are some welfare problems with caged system. Conventional cages lack adequate space for movement and do not include features to allow the behavioral expression. Hens generally have enough space to perform locomotion and fundamental behaviors. It provides opportunity for positive experiences, and cage-free system improve muscle and skeleton health. However, there are some challenges include risk of fat packing and cannibalism, which always lead to high mortality and poor welfare, risk of smothering, internal parasites, and disease. This includes the single-level or floor-based or single-tier system, where all the birds and the equipment are kept on one floor inside the shed, on or close to the floor. Think of a single-story house. The kitchen, bedrooms, and living spaces are on the same ground level. In these systems, floor can be completely covered in litter flooring material. There are also multi-tier or aviary systems. Think of multi-story house or an apartment block. The kitchen might be on the ground floor, and the living area and bedrooms are upstairs. To move between the different levels in an aviary system, birds may walk up and down a ramp, or they can jump or fly. Birds in cage-free systems also have access to an area outside the shed where they can go during the day. The birds come back into the shed to sleep, lay their eggs, eat, and drink. The hens can also have access to a covered veranda. Hens exit the indoor enclosure and enter an area attached to the building. Now, we're going to move on and talk about the fundamental behaviors of laying hens: perching, laying eggs in the nest, dust bathing, and foraging. Sometimes we call it ground scratching and pecking. First one, perching behavior, which I will introduce more later. Hens are motivated to perch at night, which is called roosting behavior. Almost all hens will perch at night if enough space is provided. Chicks start to develop lifelong behaviors within the first few days. So it is important to teach and encourage good behaviors early. For good management, it is important to provide an enriched environment for pulleys to jump, forage, perch, dust bathe, and explore, because it can reduce the risk of abnormal behaviors, such as fat packing and smothering. Now, since we talk about some normal behaviors, we now move to abnormal behaviors. First, it's a severe fat packing, which is the biggest challenge in cage-free systems. Severe fat packing is usually directed towards the back, rump, where the base of the tail joins the body, and the tail areas. The lots of feathers means it is more difficult to regulate body temperatures. This is because it spreads throughout a group in an infectious way. Once a few birds start doing it, other birds learn and also start. So once it starts, it can be spread very quickly and is difficult to stop. So it is important to provide a good environment that meets the bird's needs and reduce the risk of severe feather pecking occurring in the first place. When there are not enough materials for formal ground pecking and ground stretching, birds can instead direct this behavior to the feathers of other birds. Environment enrichment makes the environment more stimulating and encourages birds to perform natural behaviors. Good environment for hens consists of objects and materials that encourage foraging and behaviors, include pecking blocks, hay, straw bales or hanging nets with straw, rope or strings, wooden blocks, food such as cabbage and broccoli, scattering whole grain on the floor on the ground, litter on the floor, even empty plastic drums or bottles. Enrichment can be provided from an early age, ideally in the first week of life. Besides on what I mentioned about providing a suitable environment and providing enough enrichment for birds to interact, here are more things we can consider if feather pecking occurs in the flock. We should provide enough space and maintain appropriate group size so birds can have enough space to move and perform normal behaviors. Now, let's look at some key factors that impact the welfare of the laying hens. We don't have enough time to go into all detailed factors, but I'll cover some in the later presentation. We can have a quick look of these: lighting, space or group size, stock personship and handling, perching, human euthanasia and depopulation, biosecurity, flock health, genetics, choice and control such as beak trimming and forced molting, husbandry procedures, litter, abnormal and damaging behaviors, air quality, feed and water, rearing environment, and enrichment. Why perching is important? Laying hens will sleep on perches at night, known as roosting behavior. Roosting is a natural behavior and providing a feeling of safety for all the hens. Providing perches is also good for the maintaining and improving muscle and bone health through the jumping, flying, walking, and balancing actions performed when exercising and using the perches. Reducing the fearfulness and aggression, birds can use the perches to escape attack from other birds and find a safe place to rest. Improve the litter condition. More time spent perching means less time birds spend standing or sitting on the floor, which helps maintain the litter in good condition. Reducing the risk of abnormal behaviors like feather pecking and smothering. Good cage-free farm will provide elevated perches where access to all birds, provide at least 15 centimeters of perching space per bird, and support the birds feed comfortably. Height. Expression of dust bathing and foraging behaviors are strongly influenced by the provision of litter, materials such as straw, rice hulls, wood shavings, and the quality condition that litter is kept. Hens will spend the majority of time foraging if litter is provided. Meantime, maintaining good litter quality is one of the most enrichments you can provide to reduce risk of feather pecking, give birds opportunity for positive experiences. I just mentioned the type of enrichments we can provide inside the shed. Now, I would like to address more on enrichments providing. We need to provide all the times throughout bird's life, and also what type of enrichments or packing jacks inside the shed. We need to ensure they are all easy accessible for all the birds. And we can provide various objects and materials, ensure they are interesting and safe for all the birds. Last one, we need to replace and change as necessary to maintain birds' interest. Here are all my sharings. Here are some of my contacts. If you have any questions or you want some discussion, you can always send me email. And I list our Global Food Partners website. You can go to our website to get more information and knowledge. And here I share with our online courses. You can go to our online courses to get more information of cage-free systems and birds transitioning from cage to cage-free.